Hey guys, Dr. Prometheus here, and we are back with another episode of our Bills franchise little off-season preview and some roster evaluation going on, as well as looking at some college scouting players. This will be a live commentary, so there will be no cuts in this. We'll be just kind of 25-30 minute video going through the important things. I have went through some of them to make sure I've identified them beforehand, especially the big free agent signings that we could do. So, looking at our roster, I did make a change because I did go forward 1 week and another one, and it did not give Von Hoskins the development trait. I believe it should have given the development trait. He was the MVP of the Super Bowl, so in that case, I believe he should get the actual dev trait boost. I still think he should get a dev trait boost if he was a superstar already, to an X factor. I don't think he got that. Unlike the upgrade to Shields, who Shields had one during the season, as well as Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, the AFC. So looking over the roster, we do have some aging vets with Quentin Spain, who's 80 overall. 30, I don't think he's going to get any better than really what he is. Maybe one more development trait. He should start hitting regression this year or next. And Morse, who's an 84, who should start hitting regression going into next year. Be around 30 years old, so that'll happen. We drafted Woodbury going in, so our line's good. Teller, on the other hand, might be something we upgrade in this draft. Teller played pretty good when he was out there, so I'm not something that I need to replace, but it might be something that if there's a lineman, we can snag him. Deion Dawkins, 27, 87 overall. If we see a better left tackle in free agency, we might drop the ball, but drop some contracts. But for him, I believe his contract is good for 2 more years, so we might look for the replacement going into next year's draft. We do end up replacing him. He'll be 28 by the time that draft hits. I expect Drew Brees to actually retire, so Josh Allen will be taking back the reins at this point. As for out wide, Shields, Zay Jones, I believe we're good there. Foster came in with the injury to... Wow, I can't remember his name. Our slot receiver who was playing, Kendrick Bourne. So Foster came in, had a good playoff run. I mean, that was pretty good there. So we do have some depth. And if we really need to, we got McLeod can play a slot, Wims, McKenzie. So we have some depth around there. The biggest thing, though, is this contract from Ty Nsekhe will be done. I think it's a $12 million contract. Not Ty Nsekhe. Yeah, I thought Nsekhe's contract was out there. That's going to be $5 million that we actually get. And Croft played pretty good as well. For a tight end position, Knox played good when he plays, so we might see a little bit more of Knox over Croft. We might make a move in the offseason to actually trade Croft and go with Knox for the rest of the time. I do like Knox's speed and some of his power. So on the defense, as for the secondary, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson played great, and so did Micah Hyde. Micah Hyde is 30, so we should start getting a trend there. We have to realize what we're going to do for our reserves. We do have Jalen Howard here. We drafted last year out of Southern Miss. Not the greatest safety by any means, but I think he can play up in the box if needed. Man coverage not great. His zone coverage the best, which is why he's at free safety. So we might look at adding some depth, 3rd, 4th round for a safety. Found some competition there. Obviously, middle linebacker, we're set. Hoskins, Edmonds, Joseph, Loshawn Joseph. Yeah, good speed guy here, 86. His coverage needs a little work, but I think he's a guy that plays pretty good in the middle when need to. He did play a little bit. And Quinn Schillinger, I don't think we're going to end up signing him again. He was pretty good for us on special teams. But I think at this point, having these three guys were good. Pass rushing outside, Jerry Hughes is going to get hit with the regression bug a lot. Jack Lawson out here from the other side is almost 30 at this point. I don't think he's going to upgrade a lot. So pass rushing is going to be one thing on the outside that we're going to have to look at. We might invest in a veteran, and I got a couple in mind. Working ourselves down corner, Fuller, White, Apple, I'm good with that. Wallace, at the end of the day, isn't going to be starting. But if we have an injury, he'll definitely be the one that comes up with it. Wallace, 2 years still, $3.6 and $3.82 million. That's pretty nice. And then for the line, obviously Ed Oliver staying. Phillips played decent when I needed him to clog the middle of the field. But we're going to move on from Trent Murphy. Murphy's been a long time stay. He's 30 years old. This is his last year here. We're not going to re-sign him. This is the last time he really upgrades was last year. And we're going to go into the draft and probably sign someone or draft someone, as well as maybe go into free agency and sign someone. We got a couple things I'm targeting here that will go in after this one. Punter, we did all right. Bud Kerr did pretty good. I like his kick power. And we might look at adding another kick returner besides Kareth White. As we got deeper into the season, I wanted a dedicated guy, so maybe we'll look at maybe John Ross if he's available. I think he was only on a one-year contract last year, so he might be in free agency. We'll have to see. And yeah, so pretty good so far. I don't think we're going to sign Ty Montgomery. That was a big one, but I think we're going to draft a running back at this point. I have a couple things in mind. So a couple of stars in free agency. Couple of things. Look at it by salary so I can identify these guys right quick. First big one will be that we're going to see is, where is Leonard Floyd going to go? That's one thing. He's 28 years old. I don't think I'm going to invest in him. But also Trubisky, who we just played. And I also like Shaheen, but that's a guy that's I don't think is going to be a whole lot better for us than Knox, so I hold off on that. We have a couple of other ones. Looking at Beckwith, we might get him for some depth at linebacker if we do need it. Next one's on the Cardinals, I believe. Dominican Sue, we're not going to bring him in, although that's a big body that could play in the center of this defense. It could be great, but we're not going to bring him in. The other ones, I think it would be easier to go through if you could actually look at all players for remaining. But we do have a couple big ones on the Colts. Marlon Mack, who we may look at possibly. I do want to get younger, though, at running back. So that's one thing there. We also have a quarterback void for the Dolphins, so we'll have to see who they go ahead and pick up. Eagles, I didn't see anything big there. The Falcons, not a lot of big names. Mack might hit the free agent market, but we're not looking for a center. It's in that regression. And from there, it's going to be Kazee, who is older. That's pretty much like investing a lot more for just an older player. I don't think it's going to be a big part, even if we bring him in. There's a couple others I spotted. DJ Moore. I think this is DJ Moore. David Moore. So we'll see where he goes. That's an intriguing guy, but I believe it receiver are pretty much set. Richard Rodgers, of course, hitting the market as well. Jaguars have a fill pretty much at anything, but they got Foles, Grant here that's pretty high up there. But Wilson's on the back end of his career. He's a guy that needs some depth. We'll go for it. But here's one guy we might end up bringing in. Is Calais Campbell on a one-year deal if he ends up not retiring. He may hit the market and he may not be signed. But bringing in Campbell to play kind of like a hybrid inside on a 3-4 and then when we're pass rushing play outside, that would be a big one. I think he'll hover around 80 overall with one regression. 1 year bringing him in wouldn't be too difficult or hard, and bringing him for 1 year would be great. Jets, I don't think winners will go anywhere, but we'll have to see what they do. I don't think we're the right guard at that point. Decker would be intriguing, but again, that's just pretty much investing at the same thing that we have. Our tackle, I think, is 27 and about an 87, 88 overall. Let's not think big. Williams is young back, could be 27, 78 overall, but I do want to draft younger at this position. And really, as we're looking at this, Greg Olsen will probably hit. I didn't see a lot of free agents that I really cared about when I simmed ahead to kind of see who was out there to make this easier. And I didn't really see a whole lot coming through. I expect that Tom Brady will probably retire. So what are the Patriots going to do for the next year? Lee is one that's a good speed guy, but he's going to command probably $4 or $5 million, and for a backup, that's just not worth it at middle linebacker. The Rams, they do have Roby Coleman, but he's going on the last leg of before he hits regression. I do like Everett, but not someone he can really invest heavy in the future. Ravens, they did get Derrick Henry last year. They signed him for a 1-year deal or traded for him, one of the two. But this is intriguing as getting a power. This is what we pretty much go with if we were to pick up Henry. And I like his running style. I like the power he could give. But can we really afford signing some of our talent if we end up going Derrick Henry? That's one thing I've been thinking about. If we actually do go someone in free agency at running back, can we actually afford to keep our core? Because remember, we're gonna have Josh Allen and Edmonds go into 50-year options next year. And Allen's is probably going to be around $23 million next year, and Edmonds probably around 7 or 8. So it's going to be something that really, at the long run, we have to really save for and draft. We got to hit our draft picks. Webster getting older up there. Cooks in 83 getting older. Davis, same thing. A lot of regression. And the last one that was really looking at who hit free agency was Alvin Kamara. Obviously, we might have some differences when we do sim forward the preview I was really looking at, but Kamara hitting the open market, just wow. They let Brees 1 year, he goes to win the Super Bowl. I do like Alvin Kamara, the power, the agility, especially when he can catch the ball out of the backfield. But he's going to command about $10 million. Again, we need to hold our core together. I think drafting a guy is probably better in the long run. So, Seahawks, I didn't see much here. Jimmy Ward will probably hit the market. Worley will probably be re-signed. Thompson, of course, be re-signed. Steelers, Foster probably hit free agency. We'll see him. Watt, of course, will get tagged or signed, so I don't see that. This one is intriguing too. Laquan Treadwell is a... Oh, I thought he was faster than 87. Okay. physical. Okay, okay. I thought he was a lot faster. We'll see Hayden out there probably. I don't think at corner he's going to be brought in. Cunningham, I don't see him. Hitting Foreman might, but that looks like they'll probably get him on the cheap. They want to keep him. Delaney Walker, we'll likely see him in free agency. We'll have to see. Now, Taywan Taylor, this is a guy we might bring in. I might actually have Kendrick Bourne go down if we bring in Taywan Taylor, play that slot. Ooh, boy. And then at that point, if Zay Jones doesn't stay, if we don't end up keeping Zay Jones, Taywan Taylor becomes the outside guy. I think that would be a big, pretty good mixture, setting up for the future if we want to keep him or not. Last thing, Vikings. I don't really see anything that was big here. Cousins will hit the market, but it'll start hitting regression pretty hard. And Hill, he's a young guy, but I don't think we need any more corners than I really desire at this point. Those are some of the key guys going to hit free agency. Oh, I did forget one. Nicholas Morrow may hit it, and we may end up looking at him for a depth guy. So, for the draft class, this is going to be a big one here. What we're going to do. We actually, I think, have two number one legit receivers. That's Skylar Lindsey and Dave Abbott. I think Lindsey actually got the Heisman. So that's going to be a big one. These top guys right here will go first 2 rounds, more than likely. Halfbacks, what we're looking on is Trayvon Jones, Gilbert Askew. I'm kind of leaning more towards Gilbert Askew because he's a receiving back. Good carrying B+, but juke, ball carrier. 21 years old. He's going to be a guy that we can develop. Although he is 5'8", but I think with that 203, he can still make some power. For Trayvon Jones, with the power back, I want to be able to use a guy out of the backfield, be able to catch the football. We're not going to bring in a Montgomery. I think the best play here is to grab someone that can actually catch out of the backfield. As for the other guys, Leggett will probably be a guy that goes a bit higher. We'll have to see his combine, but another power back. And then the second, like the third one, which is William Simmons of Charleston Southern. Good juke move, ball carrier, good carrying, but I don't think he would really start for his day one. Not looking at receivers after we drafted the Beast Shields last season. For tight ends, we looked, and I looked hard, and I didn't see anything I really liked. The biggest one is Greg Ivey, the Tennessee, 21 years old, catching, but the thing is, his spec catch falls to a D at that point, and Gabe Norris will probably really reach for 21 out of Tulsa, and still there. That's still C's across the board. That's not the greatest. Going in the line, we didn't look at the left guard, or left tackle, but left guard. I was really looking at Allen, but I think he's going to go top to mid first round. One guy I was really looking at, though, was probably going to be either Gabe Morrell or Ricky Mentor. Ricky Mentor, good power archetype. Looks more of a run block guy on the left side, but Gabe Morrell, another power, but some good run block, lead block, impact block out here out of Kansas. So that might be a good one. Center, Joe Cash will be a guy that probably is taking the mid top, but I'll have to see his combine. I'm not really sold on him. As a run block, and his pass block is only an A-, but we'll have to see where he goes. The guy that we probably bring in the line is Dean Johnson, more than likely. Is more probably falling to our 32nd pick. Lead block, run block, good pass block power. Good there out of Louisville. I think he'll fall to us. I don't think Cash will really fall back to the end of the round. I think he'll be up in the mid round, probably 15 to 18 or so. For ends, I don't think we're going to even think about getting Keyshawn James. He's going to go top 10. I would not be surprised if he's the second or third overall pick of it. SMU, good speed rusher. And Darnell Green, he'll probably be in the top 10 as well. Probably around 5 to 7, I would guess. So not really a lot there. Cooper, though, might fall later in the first. Remember, we got 2 second-round picks. I think we pick at 10. We pick at 11 in the second round, then we have our one at 32. And we got 2 in the third round. So we may end up trading up if we see a guy that we really want. Brendan Franklin, end of second round. We might end up looking at him. I think that's good value. He's projected 4, but I think his compound is going to be better at this point. Right, and Aaron Alexander. He's going to be a top 5 pick out of Texas power rusher. Devin Lewis, probably mid-round, mid to late. We might be able to get him. Let's see if he falls. We might end up going with a guard. One sneaky guy down here, projected 4th round, but I think he's going to go in the mid-first. Might have some issues. We'll have to see his combine. That's Bennett Moreland. I think he's going to be up there, and I think we can get him if he ends up falling to the second round. Defensive tackles, I got a couple out here. Speed rusher, Tim Daniel. Might be a guy we could put on the outside, but again, that's an early first round pick. Probably go between 10 and 15, I would guess, at that point. I think he'll end up going down. But Braxton Carter, I think he'll be reached for. I don't really... Good finesse tackle. Well, finesse moves. Pretty much they're identical, but one has tackle up here. But I think Tim Daniel will be higher on my board looking at it. But we'll have to dig in the tackle if we want to get a 3-4 end. Really looking at pass rushers, and there was no one I really liked. We went down to Robert Truman, 5th round projected, but has some good skills. These run stoppers. So that's a guy that would have to go inside 245. I don't think he's really going to pass rush a whole lot, unfortunately, so he's out of it. But speed rusher, Larry Lamontalu, or Lamonta, I can't pronounce words, but we'll just go with Eddie over here. I don't think this. I mean, if he falls into the 3rd or 4th, maybe we'll take him with one of our 3rd picks. But I don't think he's someone we're gonna have to pull the trigger on. Was looking at probably some backups, but I didn't see anything. I wanted to go late rounder. Didn't see anything there. Brock Copeland looks like he is not even gonna go in the 1st round. He's gonna fall. Tyson Lacey. Another guy that's a run stopper, though, so not really a good pass rusher. Again, not a lot there. Corner, though, is going to be deep, and I think corner is going to start coming off pretty quickly between 7 and 15. Tyrell McGinty out here out of Tennessee, man coverage. I think he's going to be in the top 10. London, I think he's going to be around the 20s. He's 21 out of USF. McCain, he was a zone guy. Another one out of Boston College, Javier Waters. Another one, Kyrie Robbins. So I think a lot of these guys are going to come off before we pick first one. For safety, I did find a couple guys that are projected in the 4th, but their talent looks up in the 2nd, so they'll probably go around the 3rd round. Brandon Pratt, who's 24. I'm not high on the fact that he's coming to the draft at 24. I would really like Paris Southward as a reserve guy, but both hip power, I think they play probably better as, especially Southward as a strong safety. Marcus Burrow, who had a draft story about him, I believe. He is going to be a big catch for a team. So is Randall Miller. We might take a look at Dominic Tyson. Good hit power, is 21 years old. We might draft him if he falls in the 4th round. We're not going any kickers, punters. So there's our draft cast so far before we go into the combine. And I'm still not really sure on our 1st round pick. I don't think we're going to trade up. No point doing that, I don't think. There's no one that was really like, I gotta have him. I think Iskew will probably fall to us. As for linemen, maybe Dean Johnson if he falls to us. Remember we got picks pretty close together. So the 1st and 2nd round. I wouldn't be surprised if I trade that 2nd and 3rd round pick to trade up in the 2nd round to get someone if I really like them. Particularly maybe a pass rusher. If they do come up on the board. We got a lot of depth here at pass rush. We'll have to see how the draft really goes. I didn't see any linebackers, so that's why I'm thinking we're going to have to do a little hybrid if regression hits Jerry Hughes a lot. Do some hybrid pass rush formations. Let's say if Calais Campbell hits the market, of doing Calais Campbell in our base 3-4, it'll be Hughes on the outside, and Campbell will be on the right end opposite of Oliver. And if we go in our pass rushing formation, Calais Campbell will be on the outside, Hughes will be on the sideline, Oliver will take a middle, Phil Lawson, and maybe if we bring in a rookie will play one of the defensive tackle position. And we'll have to, obviously, Calais Campbell out wide and then Jack Lawson. So let's see how this goes, but we're going to have our live stream on Sunday, this Sunday, which is this Sunday the 15th, March 15th. We're going to be having our live stream at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are going to hit it hard. We'll see how that goes. It'll probably be about an hour and a half that we'll do this live stream, and then maybe we'll cut over to something else by that point. But yeah, it's going to be a good time. We're going to see what we turn over, see what we can get in free agency in the draft. We'll see if we can really take this further when it comes to maybe winning back-to-back Super Bowls. At this point, with Tom Brady, if he retires, really it's just, can we not lose the game to the Dolphins? And can we actually beat the Jets consistently? That's going to be one of the big issues. One thing I do want to point out, I did forget, the 1st overall pick will be the Dolphins. So we'll have to see who they pick. If they get someone in free agency, I highly doubt they will actually pick quarterback, which would be a surprise. So we'll have to see what the Dolphins end up doing. It's going to be very intriguing. But the fact that the Dolphins, then it's the Raiders, and it's the Vikings who may go with a new quarterback because Kirk Cousins is going into free agency. Cardinals, the Bucks, we'll have to see what Jameis Winston does. You have the Giants, who may not be happy with Manning or Jones if Manning doesn't retire. And we might see 2 quarterbacks come off in the top 10 with the Dolphins, Vikings, Giants. We could have potentially 2 out of those 3 teams taking them from there. So we'll have to see how this stacks up. I will see you guys next time. Go make, comment, like, subscribe. Tell me how you're liking this so far. Give some comments on the draft class, who I should draft. Some of the free agency hits, if you glance through the names as well. Who should I sign if they're actually out there? I have a couple of ideas. I don't want to go anyone that's going to be overly crazy high overall. just because I like to develop someone at running back. I feel like our line's pretty good that we can actually develop someone and we don't need some high tier talent. We got away with Yeldon, Singletary, and Montgomery. None of them were even over a 78 overall, so I feel like we got away pretty well last year with those three-headed monster there. But I want to get a feature back, so I will see you guys next time. Later.